Hello everyone, I'm Kako Chrissy. Welcome back to my channel. And yesterday, because of a New Year celebration, we studied Liangzhu B. We paid all respect for the round shape jade called B disc. That's the symbol of God of heaven. And we learned instead of a say, and that's the shape, they resemble the God of heaven. More precisely, thanks for Hayase Minao's study. We know that a round shape was directly imitated from sun and the moon. Actually, back to 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, when people raise their head in the sky, that's the only thing they see is in the round shape. So they imitated the nature from the sun, from the moon. They created the round disk B to resemble that's the sun and that's the moon. Additionally, ancient people make a hole, rounded hole in the center of the B disc. So let the light come through. And also that's the pathway when we pray for heaven, we pray for what kind of reason? That the time our prayer will through the hole by adding the jade, the earth power, and the spiritual power, help us better to deliver our prayer to the heaven God. And then the heaven God will hear us, and they send our ancestors through that hole, ancestors' soul, through the holes, come back to us to bring us whatever we need. Sometimes we need the yang side of energy, like from the sun, and sometimes we needed the yin side of energy from the moon, and sometimes we mix them together. So by what we need by that time, our ancestors' soul will through the hole bring those bless, bring those help back to us. Again, through those jade, the earth power and the spiritual power, to deliver those protection to us efficiently, even better. So we paid all respect to the B disc. And today we will examine the Cong. By cover yesterday B and today's Cong. There's two major catalog in Liangzhu Jade. I think majority of the jade, if you understand that there's two form, you are in a good spot. You will get a lot of understanding about ancient Liangzhu culture. So we examine this piece, and I put it here for you have a better view to see. You see the beautiful patina formed on the top of a jade. See the detail in curved lines. This is the piece. Actually, it's a 7 section, quite large. Not the largest one. By the very end of Liangzhu culture, they make a much larger Cong than this. Mainly, you see in museum those black dish Cong, very, very tall. But you will notice those pieces, they divided by the sections but without the detail inside of the dainty face, the mask on the side. They just make a flat surface, a flat edge. As we talked before, it's much easier than to make like this kind of a cong, because rounded this shape, this is much difficult to make. And also by inside this dainty face, you see how detailed. This is the patient in the middle of Liangzhu culture people had. But when towards the very end of Liangzhu culture, seems they lost this patient to use the tiny lines to decorate. They just put two tiny round holes, sometimes not even those holes to indicate the eyes, nothing, just the section. You will see they lose their patient toward the end of the culture. That's the rule probably apply to all of our cultures. In the beginning, we went through struggle. We make things very difficult. You see, we put in great effort. Although the design is not mature, prematurely has a childish, but you see a beautiful creation, original creation, the something touch your soul, make you smile. Those kind of artwork you see in the early part. And when they reach the middle peak part, they just decorate every inch of it, like the bee and disc yesterday we studied. So this cong is the same, belong to that area towards the middle of Liangzhu. You see the body is relatively thick, although it's not as thick as the early part of Liangzhu jade. They only have a small hole here. The majority, the jade material, they stay down there. They preserve more jade earth power, and also the design they make much simple. It is different. So we go through this jade material first. You will see it's a beautiful translucent jade. Although with a deep stain patina covered, it's a beautiful jade. This is the jade is local Liangzhu people's place. Although a scholar hasn't identified where this mine came from, apparently during the Liangzhu culture, they have a lot of those beautiful jade, and they know their jade material really well. Whenever they have a chance to get this beautiful material, they apply so beautiful work on it. Very detailed. You see the effort they put in the piece. I want to talk about this cong, this is the shape, a little bit a history side of it. Okay. In the history book, cong, let's say the emperor, Qianlong Emperor is about 1700, 18th century. That's the great emperor. He liked jade very much. So whenever people find the old jade, they will deliver to the court, give it to him. So you know, the Taipei Palace Museum, their collection is mostly built by Qianlong Emperor. So when he saw this kind of jade, and his piece is much smaller, not this long, this tall, much smaller, and without a little bit design, but much less detailed than this. He must consult a stick, a bowl, a pole to carry it as a platform. So the owner and the higher rank people sit on the top. The 4 people carry it. When Richard the emperor, probably they use 8 people or even 16 people, a lot of people to carry his car, his seats. So Qianlong Emperor said, this piece, this cong, now we call it cong. Back then, he said, oh, that's the piece to let the pole go through this center to carry the Asian people's seats, the car, like a car function, part of a car. So he called it Gangtou, means that's a tool to help you to carry the car, let the pole go through here, and the people put on their shoulder, carry the car. And so for a long time, people call this kind of shape Gangtou. I think only in the court side, not many in their real life, people see this piece. So with the early 20th century, America has a great ancient art scholar. His name, Berthold Laufer, is a German American. I have his book here. This is the book. They say that's so heavy. How people use this to add more weight for their job on the shoulder to carry the chairs, the car. So he's a great scholar. He can read ancient textbook. So he go back to ancient textbook and find out that this piece actually should call the Cong instead of Gangtou, the Qianlong Emperor named. And time passed by, let's say 50 some years ago, the Japanese scholar Hayashi Minao did a great detailed study and go by the ancient book and combine them with the archaeologist's findings. And he figured out that this piece, Berthold Laufer said this piece is the ceremony piece, not for used to carry things. Hayashi Minao furthermore studied the piece. He identified that this piece is the main piece on your plate, on your pre-table altar is the main piece. Stand straight like here, and put the rice stick something on the top. This is the one to hold your ancestor's soul to stay inside here to protect us. That's his study. Unfortunately, Hayashi Minao's this discovery study has not reached the Western world yet, not to America, even inside the Asian they have not passed on Hayashi Mina's study yet. So I find out one YouTube video is made by Taiwan Palace Museum. A lady, she uses sign language to explain what is this Cong. I listed underneath my recommendation. Please take a look at it. From her video that published by Taiwan Museum, there's a piece is similar like this, short, and this wide open. She explained that this piece is on the title video, they say the late Liangzhu culture, but inside the video, they say that clearly this belongs to middle side of Liangzhu culture. I think more accurately that should be the middle part of Liangzhu culture. So come back to this one, that's the middle part of Liangzhu culture. That's one thing we confirm. Although this guy, you see how thick the wall is. You see how thin this wall is older than this one. And because the older age have this kind of long, big Cong, it's very rare. In the early towards the middle part, the most of the Cong is a smaller size. You find that this big is very rare, okay? And also, I want you to look at that video. You will notice the lady explain you the Cong's design came from a bracelet. That's the theory some archaeology in China claimed in the middle of 1980s, 90s. And someone say, oh, we discovered a Liangzhu tomb. It belongs to middle of a part of Liangzhu culture like this. You see there's a hole so wide, it's perfectly fit your hands in, become a bracelet. And they find that this location is next to the body. More likely, they say, probably is used like a bracelet. Since then, this theory has widespread to the world. Even Taiwan Museum today, they also use this theory, say this the piece, the Cong, originally from a bracelet. That's the thing I repeated again. I don't mind. How many times I have to repeat. You don't need to learn Chinese to learn jade. If you just take a photo, a screenshot, like someone find that's the middle part of Liangzhu Cong around next to the body, the owner's body. Okay, this piece we think is used like a bracelet. And then we give you a series, say the Cong was originally developed from the bracelet. You say that it's okay, but we must ask Jade to confirm with the Jade. Is my theory correct? Apparently, it is not, because we know in the very early part of Liangzhu culture, like the Cong, before I show you, the center hole is very small. The majority of the jade they left there. And you know the famous Cong king that they call the king of the Cong, that big wide jade block. The center hole is this small and very, very heavy, very, very tall, probably this much tall. No one can use that as a bracelet. Just no one can use that heavy thing, and more than probably close to 20 pounds or something. And the tiny hole, your hands won't go through this. And then you go through the very end of Liangzhu Cong from any kind of a museum when they have, you will see they are much larger. Whose arm can go through that? And if you look at it, just stop at that second, make a screenshot, say that's the original of the Cong. It's not right. We got to conform our knowledge with the pieces we know. And apparently, you already know the early part of Liangzhu. That's a thick, heavy thing, so tiny hole. It can't be the bracelet. At the very end of Liangzhu, very long Cong, it can't be the bracelet. Why we keep on saying, oh, the Liangzhu or the Cong was original from the bracelet? To make things interesting, sounds interesting, fun, yes, can do. But that is far away from the truth. By studying this piece, I hope you can get a better sense, and more important, by through each pieces, we go through this imperial observation to build our knowledge, and also we have to conform our knowledge by each piece, carry to the next piece, by correct ourselves. That's the thing. Like Mr. Laufer said, and as Mr. Hayashi Minao said, jade is still a virgin land. There's so many things we can study, we can improve ourselves based on the new finding. We need to give jade a correct definition about their function. Thank you for watching today. I will see you next time.